Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a universe without weight. Stars drifting apart like loose petals, planets wandering without a path, moons slipping into the darkness forever. It feels impossible, doesn't it? And yet there is only one reason this chaos never comes to be: gravity. The silent hand that pulls without ever being seen, the soft thread that binds the entire cosmos into a single woven fabric. Gravity is not loud, it does not flash like lightning or roar like thunder. Instead, it whispers, gently, tugging, forever shaping everything we know. It is why the sun keeps watch over its family of planets, why Earth carries us faithfully around its orbit, why the moon lingers night after night. But gravity is also much more. It is the sculptor of galaxies, the painter of stars, the hidden author of time itself. Tonight we will drift into its story, a story of attraction, collapse, balance, and mystery. A story that reaches from falling apples to the farthest galaxy. Gravity. The quiet power that shapes the universe forever. The silent pull that keeps everything together. Gravity has no voice, yet everything in the universe listens to it. The galaxies themselves spin in obedience, the planets circle their stars, and our own feet remain pressed gently to the earth beneath us. You might think of gravity as weight, but it is more than that. It is belonging, it is attachment, it is the reason nothing drifts endlessly away. Without it, the universe would be like a puzzle tossed into the wind, scattered pieces never finding each other again. And isn't it curious that the very thing holding us here is something we cannot see? It is almost like love, this invisible pull. Two objects, no matter how far apart, reach for each other silently. The Earth reaches for the moon, the sun for its planets, even you for the chair you are sitting on. There's no bargaining in it, no hesitation, only attraction, pure and steady. What is more mysterious is that the bigger the object, the greater its pull. And yet, even the smallest grain of dust has its own gentle gravity. The tiniest things yearn toward one another, as if the universe itself cannot bear to let anything be completely alone. Think about this. Every star you see at night is not just shining, it is holding worlds, dust, comets, invisible rings of attraction that you will never see with your eyes. It does this without effort, without a single spark wasted. Imagine the sun 93 million miles away, still reaching you with both light and gravity. Imagine that quiet persistence, day after day, century after century. Doesn't it feel almost alive, as if gravity itself has a kind of patience humans can never truly master? What's even more humbling is that gravity does not rest. There is no pause, no off switch. The Earth's oceans rise and fall each day because of it. Mountains are pressed upward because of it, and stars themselves collapse because of it. It works in silence, unrecognized by the busy human mind. We notice the rain, we hear the thunder, we see the lightning, but gravity never announces itself. It simply is. And perhaps that is the truest form of power, the kind that needs no applause. And so this silent pull continues, unbroken, since the first instant of creation. From galaxies stretched across millions of light years to your own hand resting on the table, gravity makes sure everything belongs to something. It is the quiet promise written into the fabric of existence. And as we follow its story, you may start to feel that promise in a new way, like a heartbeat that has been with you all along. How stars would drift away without an invisible hand. A star looks eternal when you see it shining, yet without gravity it would scatter like sparks from a fire. The gases inside a star are wild, constantly pushing outward, desperate to escape. But gravity gathers them back, squeezes them tight, and keeps the star alive. It is this invisible hand that allows a star to shine steadily for billions of years instead of fading in an instant. Without it, there would be no warmth, no planets, and no life looking up at the night sky in wonder. Now picture a galaxy filled with hundreds of billions of stars, each one blazing, each one restless. If not for gravity's embrace, these stars would not hold together. They would simply drift apart, and the word galaxy would have no meaning at all. The Milky Way, that glowing river across the night sky, is not just a cluster of stars, but a family bound together. What makes them family is not light, not distance, but gravity's unseen hand weaving them into one great spiral. We tend to think of space as empty, but emptiness cannot hold anything together. Only gravity does that. A star, no matter how mighty, is helpless without it. You could say that gravity is the trust every star depends upon, even if it doesn't know it. And isn't there something beautiful in that thought, that even the brightest flames in the universe lean on an invisible strength to keep them alive? There are places in space where gravity loses its grip, where stars slip free, exiled from their galaxies, wandering through the darkness alone. Astronomers call them rogue stars. They are lonely travelers, drifting endlessly without orbit, without warmth, without belonging. And when you think of that, you start to realize the kindness of gravity. It doesn't just hold things. It gives them a place, a home, a circle to return to. So when you look up at the stars tonight, know this, their light is only half the story. The other half is the invisible hand keeping them from scattering into chaos. That hand is gravity, a quiet companion to every flame in the sky, ensuring that the universe does not become a meaningless drift of sparks. And isn't it comforting that even in silence, there is always something holding everything together? The sun's quiet grip on the wandering planets. If you could step back far enough, you would see our solar system not as lines on a page, but as a dance, each planet moving at its own pace, circling the sun in endless loyalty. The sun does not chase them. It does not call out to them. It simply holds with gravity alone, and the planets cannot help but return, orbit after orbit. That is the sun's quiet grip, not forceful, not violent, but steady, gentle, unbreakable. Mercury, the swiftest, darts close to the fire, while Neptune lingers at the cold edges of the solar system, and yet both are bound to the same center. Imagine that reach, gravity stretching across billions of miles, unseen, yet always present. Even the comets that stray to the farthest corners eventually curve back under its influence. It is a reach so vast that we often forget it is happening right now, as you listen, as you breathe. This grip is not only about planets, it holds asteroids, dust, even the faint whispers of gas floating between worlds. Everything the sun touches is part of its kingdom, but the sun is not selfish. It allows motion, it allows freedom, as long as that balance remains. Planets can spin, moons can orbit, comets can wander, but the circle always completes itself. There is a quiet justice in this. Gravity never overreaches but never lets go. And yet imagine if the sun's grip vanished even for a moment. Earth would not hesitate. It would fly free, rushing in a straight line into cold space, never to return. All the planets would scatter, and the solar system would dissolve like mist in the morning light. This vision reminds us how delicate everything truly is, how all of our existence depends on a silent force we rarely notice. So the next time you feel the warmth of sunlight on your skin, remember this. The warmth is a gift, but the orbit is survival. The sun's quiet grip ensures that we are not lost wanderers, but faithful dancers in a cosmic circle. Gravity is not just pulling us, It is keeping the rhythm of our very life, Earth's steady path through a sea of darkness. The Earth does not drift aimlessly, it sails, steady and sure, on a path carved by gravity. Around the sun it goes again and again, never too close to burn, never too far to freeze. This path, this orbit, is not random. It is the perfect balance between falling and moving forward. We are, in truth, always falling toward the sun, but our sideways motion keeps us from ever arriving. And so we circle, endlessly, like a leaf caught in a whirlpool that never ends. Think of how fragile that balance is. A little closer and the oceans would boil. A little farther and the earth would turn to ice. Gravity and motion together hold us in the narrow lane where life can exist. It feels almost intentional, doesn't it? As if the universe knew to place us exactly where warmth and water could meet. This steady path has lasted billions of years, carrying the first cells, the first forests, the first humans. Without gravity's guidance, none of it would have been possible. And here's the quiet wonder: you are moving right now, even as you sit still. At this moment, the Earth carries you around the sun at nearly 67,000 miles per hour. You do not feel it, you do not hear it, yet it is happening. Gravity makes the motion effortless, turning what could be chaos into a smooth, endless journey. Doesn't that make you wonder how much else is happening silently, beyond the reach of our senses? Sometimes, when night falls, you can see the path yourself. The constellations slowly shift as Earth drifts forward in its orbit. Month by month, the sky rearranges, reminding us that our world is not standing still, but gliding on its track. Ancient people noticed this long before telescopes guiding their calendars, their crops, their stories. In their way, they trusted gravity even without knowing its name. And so Earth continues, steady and unshaken, circling through a sea of darkness that might otherwise swallow it whole. Gravity has written this path in stone, and for as long as the sun shines, the Earth will follow. It is a quiet assurance that in the vast uncertainty of space, at least one thing will remain constant. Our home will always find its way. The moon held close in an endless embrace. Look up at night, and you see a companion that never leaves. The moon, forever circling, forever near. Gravity is the bond that keeps Earth and moon locked together in this endless embrace. Without it, the moon would have drifted away long ago, lost in the dark. Instead it lingers, tugging at our oceans, lighting our nights, shaping our tides. That steady presence is not chance, it is gravity's devotion written in every orbit. The moon is not simply circling, it is also locked, showing us only one face. This too is gravity's work, slowing its spin until one side is forever turned toward Earth. Imagine the patience of that process, millions of years of gradual slowing until the moon and Earth fell into perfect rhythm. It is almost like a conversation frozen in time, one partner always watching, the other always held. Does it not feel almost human, this bond between worlds? And yet the moon is slowly drifting away inch by inch. Gravity is not absolute. It allows change, even in devotion. Scientists measure this drift with lasers, and they tell us the moon moves about 4 centimeters farther every year. It is slow, almost invisible, but it reminds us that even the closest bonds are never fully still. There is always motion, always evolution, even in what seems eternal. For Earth, the moon is more than a companion. It is a sculptor. Its gravity pulls on our oceans, raising tides that shape coastlines, feed ecosystems, and inspire poets. Imagine a world without tides, silent, unchanging seas with no rhythm. How different life would be. The moon's pull reaches into our culture, our calendars, even our emotions. Its embrace is not just physical, it is woven into who we are as humans. And so, night after night, the moon rises, never too far, never too near, always faithful to its path. Gravity holds it there, close enough to guide us, distant enough to remind us of mystery. It is a quiet love story in the sky, one that has lasted longer than humanity itself, and one that will continue for millions of years more. Tides rising and falling under gravity's rhythm. Twice each day the oceans breathe in and out. The tides swell high, then sink low, pulled not by the winds but by the moon's invisible touch. This rhythm has guided sailors, shaped coastlines, and even carved myths in human memory. It is a reminder that gravity does not only act on stars and planets, it reaches into our very waters, sculpting them with a patience so vast we often forget to notice. And yet if you stand by the shore, you can feel it in your bones, the sea answering to the pull of the sky. The moon is not alone in this role. The sun also joins the dance. At times their pulls combine, creating tides so high they almost roar. At other times they work against each other, leaving the seas quieter, subdued. This balance is like a cosmic heartbeat, pounding gently on the shores of every land. Think of the billions of years this has been happening, before humans, before forests, even before fish crawled from the sea. The tides have always been Earth's quiet metronome. Life itself learned to follow this rhythm. Ancient creatures waited for the waters to rise and retreat, shaping their very bodies around it. Even today, crabs, turtles, and countless ocean beings still move to this pulse. Isn't it extraordinary that the pull of a distant moon dictates the feeding and breeding of creatures across the globe? It feels like gravity is not only sculpting matter, it is writing the hidden poetry of life. For humans, the tides became more than nature. They became story. Fishermen trusted them, farmers marked them, and lovers watched the waves as they rose beneath the moon's glow. We may not always realize it, but the ocean's mood changes each day because of the simplest of forces, one body pulling gently on another. No machines, no wires, just attraction across the void. And so when the waves touch your feet, remember, you are not only touching water, but touching the thread of gravity that runs between Earth, Moon, and Sun. It is a rhythm so vast it belongs not to one place or people, but to the entire planet. Falling apples and orbiting worlds. The same story. Long ago, a simple apple fell from a tree, and a curious mind wondered why. That question led to one of the greatest realizations in history. The same force that brought the apple down also keeps the moon in the sky. What seems ordinary on Earth is in truth the same story written across the heavens. Falling and orbiting are not opposites. They are simply different ways of being pulled by gravity. Imagine this. The moon is always falling toward Earth, yet it never lands. Its sideways motion carries it forward, while gravity pulls it inward. The result is orbit, a balance between falling and moving that never ends. This balance is the same reason satellites circle us, planets circle stars, and stars circle the cores of galaxies. A single apple explained the dance of the cosmos. It humbles us, doesn't it? That something so small, so everyday, contains the secret of the universe itself. We chase mysteries in the stars, yet the answer was always here, falling into our laps. It reminds us that the grand and the ordinary are never separate. Gravity unites them in one law, one whisper that spans from apple trees to spiral galaxies. And isn't there something comforting in this, that the Earth catching an apple and the Earth catching the moon are the same story told on different scales? The falling leaf, the tumbling stone, the orbiting planet, they are all echoes of the same rule. The universe may be vast, but it is not random. It is consistent, reliable, and strangely simple at heart. So the next time something slips from your hands, don't just sigh at the inconvenience. Remember that you are witnessing the very principle that holds galaxies together. In that moment, you are touching the same law that guides the stars. Why nothing ever truly floats free in space. When we think of space, we imagine weightlessness, objects drifting without end. But in truth, nothing ever floats completely free. Every particle, every rock, every star is caught in the web of gravity. Even the loneliest asteroid feels the tug of planets, the pull of stars, the invisible handshake of cosmic bodies reaching across the dark. It may drift, but it is never abandoned. Consider this. Our solar system itself is not truly free. It orbits the center of the Milky Way, pulled by a massive black hole and the combined gravity of billions of stars. And the Milky Way, too, is not free. It drifts toward Andromeda, locked in a slow-motion embrace that will one day reshape the sky. The farther you look, the more you realize. Gravity never lets go. It is like an invisible net spread across the universe, linking everything to something else. Even light cannot escape its touch, bending softly when it passes massive stars. This net does not break, does not fray. It holds from the smallest dust grain to the largest galaxy clusters, binding them in an endless chain of belonging. We may dream of escaping gravity, of floating endlessly beyond its reach. But every rocket launched from Earth is still captured by some other force, a planet, a star, a galaxy. There is no true escape, only a new circle, a new center to belong to. And perhaps that is not a prison, but a comfort. Because what would freedom mean if it was endless drift, no direction, no return? Gravity ensures that nothing is ever truly alone. Even in the emptiest stretches of space, something is always reaching for something else. That silent reaching is what makes the universe whole. The secret balance between motion and attraction. Picture a stone tied to a string, swung in a circle. The string pulls inward, the stone flies outward, and together they form a perfect loop. This is the secret balance of motion and attraction, the very same balance that holds the planets in orbit. Gravity pulls inward, motion pushes outward, and the result is harmony. Remove one, and the dance ends instantly. Every orbit you see, from moons to stars, is built on this fragile compromise. A planet moves too slowly, and it falls into its star. It moves too fast, and it escapes into the cold. Only in that golden middle does an orbit form, stable, beautiful, eternal. The fact that Earth found this balance is why you are here to listen at all. Think of how delicate that balance is. Shift it even slightly and entire systems could collapse. Yet for billions of years, most planets remain loyal to their paths. The elegance of this balance is humbling. It feels almost as if the universe itself prefers order to chaos. Perhaps that is why life flourishes, because gravity chose balance over destruction. And here is the quiet irony. You are part of this balance too. Your body moves with Earth's orbit, your clock with Earth's spin, your breath with the rhythm of this cosmic agreement. You may feel separate, but you are caught in the same equation as the stars. That connection is both fragile and unbreakable. So when you see the night sky turning slowly above, remember, you are not outside of it looking in. You are inside the balance, a part of the circle, held steady by the same invisible thread that keeps galaxies from tearing apart. When orbits become the music of the cosmos, if you listen closely, not with ears, but with imagination, you can almost hear it. The planets moving, the moons circling, the stars turning around their centers. Each orbit is a rhythm, each system a melody. Together they form the music of the cosmos. It is silent to us, but written in the mathematics of motion, in the harmony of gravity and time. Kepler once described it as the music of the spheres, believing that planets sang as they moved. And though we do not hear it, modern science shows he was not wrong. Each orbit has a frequency, a regularity, a beat. The universe is not noise, it is a grand orchestra tuned by gravity itself. Think of how extraordinary it is that such harmony exists in silence. Every orbit is a story told in repetition. Mercury races quickly, Saturn lingers slow, Neptune drifts in a patient arc. Each has its part to play, and together they weave the fabric of stability. Imagine a universe without these rhythms, chaotic, lawless, stars and planets colliding without pattern. It would be like an orchestra with no conductor. Gravity is that silent conductor, ensuring every note is played in time. Even the smallest things join this cosmic music. Electrons circling their atoms, moons circling their planets, galaxies circling each other. The pattern repeats on every scale as if the universe insists on harmony. It feels almost spiritual, doesn't it? That repetition itself becomes beauty, that motion itself becomes music. And as you drift into thought, consider this. You too are part of this music. Every heartbeat, every breath, every step you take is in rhythm with a greater whole. The cosmos sings not above you, but through you, and the song will go on long after we are gone. The first sparks of gravity in the newborn universe. In the very beginning, the universe was not filled with stars and planets. It was filled with light and dust, tiny particles drifting through expanding emptiness. There was no order, no galaxies, just a vast glowing fog. Yet even then gravity was at work, tugging gently on every particle, whispering them closer. Slowly, almost invisibly, clumps began to form. Small gatherings became larger until the first sparks of structure appeared. It is humbling to imagine that everything we see today, every mountain, every star, began with these quiet gatherings of dust. Gravity worked with patience, not speed. It did not rush, but over millions of years its pulls created knots in the cosmic fog. These knots became the seeds of stars, the seeds of galaxies. Without gravity's first whispers, the universe would have remained a silent haze, empty of the beauty we know. The spark was not loud, it was delicate, almost fragile, but it was enough to begin the great unfolding of creation. Scientists call this time cosmic dawn. Imagine standing there, if it were possible, watching the darkness break into the first points of light. The universe was writing its first story, and gravity was holding the pen. No one commanded it, no one directed it. It was simply the nature of things, attraction, calling to attraction. In that endless blackness, light bloomed, and gravity kept it alive. This story reminds us that greatness does not need to arrive suddenly. Sometimes it begins with small pulls, tiny connections that grow until they become undeniable. Gravity teaches us this lesson, that the universe itself began not with chaos alone, but with a gentle order gathering the pieces into harmony. Doesn't it make you wonder if the same principle guides our lives, small attractions building into great structures? And so the first sparks glowed, held together by the most patient of forces. That patience still flows through everything we see tonight. The stars overhead, the earth beneath you, even the breath in your chest. All of it began with those first pulls, those first gatherings long ago at the dawn of time. How clumps of dust became stars through slow pulling. From those first sparks, the universe began to weave. Tiny clumps of dust, almost invisible, kept drawing in more of their kind. Each grain, each particle, was pulled closer until the small became large and the large became massive. With every new addition, gravity grew stronger, its reach wider, its embrace tighter. The quiet snowballs of dust grew into glowing cradles of fire, the first stars, the first flames of eternity. It is difficult to imagine the scale of patience required. Millions of years for clouds of gas to collapse, slowly inch by inch, until the weight was enough to ignite nuclear fire. And yet, gravity never faltered. It pulled ceaselessly, tirelessly, until the stars were born. From dust to fire, from silence to brilliance. That was the miracle gravity performed again and again across the universe. If you look at a newborn star region today like the Orion Nebula, you can see this process still happening. Clouds of gas collapsing into bright young suns hidden behind veils of dust. It is like watching the universe repeating its own origin over and over, and gravity is always the sculptor, the hand shaping the unseen clay of the cosmos. Without this slow pulling, there would be no light, no warmth, no solar systems. Imagine a universe of eternal darkness, matter never gathering, never igniting. Gravity turned that possibility into something else entirely, a sky filled with fire. Every star you see tonight is a reminder that even dust, with enough patience, can become radiant. And perhaps that is why stars feel eternal to us, because their story is not sudden. It is slow, deliberate, crafted by the same force that cradles us now. Dust into fire, silence into brilliance. That is gravity's quiet art, the gathering of planets from scattered debris. Stars were not the only children of gravity. Around them, in the glowing disks of gas and stone, smaller stories were being written. Dust collided with dust, rock with rock, pulled together by the same invisible hand. At first, the collisions were chaotic, shards flying, pieces breaking, but over time, patterns emerged. The small became larger, the larger became worlds. Planets were born from fragments gathered like beads on a string around their stars. Think of Earth in its earliest days, a wild, molten sphere, pieced together from countless smaller stones. Each rock that crashed into it was not random, but guided by gravity's insistence. Come closer, join, belong. Over millions of years, the rough edges smoothed, the fragments merged, and a planet formed strong enough to carry oceans, forests, and life. All from scattered debris, stitched into unity by gravity. Even today, the process has not ended. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter still whispers of a planet that almost formed, but was pulled apart by Jupiter's stronger gravity. Moons still gather from rings of dust, as seen around Saturn and other planets. Creation through gathering has never stopped. It continues quietly beyond our eyes, but always in gravity's hands. This process shows us something important, that order emerges from collision, that harmony can rise from chaos. The planets are not smooth beginnings, they are scars made whole, fragments made one. And isn't that the same with us, that we too are shaped by countless collisions drawn together by unseen forces until something new is born? And so when you look at the planets tonight, remember they are not accidents. They are the children of patience, the result of billions of years of gathering, shaping, and pulling. Worlds from dust, order from chaos. That is gravity's legacy written in stone. The weight that shaped mountains on Earth. Gravity is not only a cosmic artist, it is also Earth's own sculptor. The mountains that pierce the sky, the valleys that stretch wide, the rivers that carve deep, all owe their form to weight. When tectonic plates collide, it is gravity that pulls them down, pressing rock into rock until mountains rise. When rivers flow, it is gravity that guides their path, carving valleys over endless centuries. Every landscape we know is painted in its shadow. Imagine standing before the Himalayas. Those vast walls of stone were once ocean floors, pushed upward by collision, pressed higher by gravity's insistence. Without weight, the collision would have been meaningless. It is gravity that makes the Earth solid, stable, and ever-changing. Even the stones beneath your feet are heavy because gravity demands it, pressing them tight into the planet's skin. Volcanoes, too, are born of gravity, as molten rock is pulled upward, only to fall back, layering the Earth's crust with fire-made stone. The very balance of land and sea is gravity's doing, shaping coastlines, shaping continents. Without it, our world would be an endless fog of drifting dust, no mountains, no rivers, no ground to walk upon. And yet gravity is not only destructive or heavy, it is also creative. By pulling rivers downward, it creates fertile valleys. By pressing rocks upward, it creates peaks where snow gathers, rivers begin, and life flourishes. Every cycle of life on land begins with gravity shaping the terrain. Without mountains, there would be no rivers. Without rivers, no oceans. Without oceans, no life. So the next time you see a mountain, remember, it is not only rock, but history. Billions of years of gravity's weight have written its story, carving beauty from pressure, order from collapse. Even the ground you stand on is part of that patient shaping, the pressure that ignites stars into fire. Gravity not only gathers, it squeezes. In the heart of a star-forming cloud, gravity presses gas tighter and tighter until the atoms themselves can no longer resist. And when the pressure is great enough, something miraculous happens. Fusion begins. Hydrogen fuses into helium, releasing light and heat. A star is born, burning with the power of billions of nuclear explosions each second. Yet the match was struck not by fire, but by gravity's invisible pressure. This is why gravity is not only a sculptor, but an igniter. Without its weight, stars would never light. The gas would remain cold and dark, scattered in the void. It is only when gravity insists, when it squeezes relentlessly, that light is born. Every sunrise on Earth is a reminder of this hidden truth, that fire itself comes from pressure, from being held together too tightly to remain the same. The balance is delicate. Gravity pulls inward, fusion pushes outward, and together they create stability. If fusion weakens, gravity wins and the star collapses. If fusion grows too strong, gravity loosens and the star expands. Every shining star you see tonight is living in this delicate balance, held in tension, sustained by the quiet battle between inward pull and outward fire. Think about how extraordinary this is, that every atom of light warming your skin once came from a star's inner struggle, gravity pressing it until it transformed. You are, quite literally, made of the results of that pressure. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs, all forged in stars, born under gravity's squeeze. So when you see the stars tonight, remember, their fire is not ordinary flame. It is the result of patience, weight, and invisible pressure. Gravity did not only shape them, it lit them. And through them, it lit the path of life itself, the collapse that forges black holes. There comes a point when gravity no longer builds, but destroys. When a massive star exhausts its fuel, fusion weakens, and gravity wins the battle. The star collapses inward, tighter and tighter, until nothing can resist. In that moment, a black hole is born, a place where gravity is so strong that even light cannot escape. It is the most mysterious child of gravity, both terrifying and beautiful, a doorway into the unknown. Imagine the collapse itself. A star once shining across galaxies, now folding into itself, shrinking smaller and denser until all that remains is darkness. To the outside, It appears as a silent disappearance, but inside, gravity is crushing matter into a point of infinite density, a singularity. No human words can fully capture it. All we know is that the laws of physics themselves seem to bend at its edge. And yet black holes are not only destroyers, they are creators of order, sculptors of galaxies. Their gravity pulls stars into orbits, their presence stabilizes spiral arms, and their energy fuels jets of light that shine across billions of light years. The very existence of galaxies may depend on these silent, invisible anchors born from collapse. Think of it this way: gravity gathers, builds, and nurtures, but at its extreme, it transforms into something unrecognizable. Black holes remind us that creation and destruction are not opposites in the universe, they are partners. Each collapse gives rise to new structures, each ending seeds a new beginning. It feels unsettling, yet strangely comforting, doesn't it? That even in endings, gravity whispers of renewal. So the next time you hear of a black hole, do not picture only darkness. Picture gravity at its most intense, so powerful it reshapes time, bends light, and writes galaxies into existence. In silence, it creates the foundations of the universe's grand design. Galaxies spiraling under invisible threads. From a distance, galaxies look like pinwheels of light. Billions of stars arranged in delicate spirals, but those spirals are not held together by beauty alone. They are bound by gravity's invisible threads. Without it, the stars would scatter, the spirals unravel, and galaxies would dissolve into nothingness. Each glowing arm, each sweeping curve, is shaped by the pull of gravity weaving stars into a cosmic dance. The Milky Way itself is one of these spirals, stretching 100,000 light-years across. Every star within it, including our Sun, moves in orbit around its center. It is a movement so vast we can barely comprehend it. Millions of years for a single circle. And yet the pattern holds steady and graceful because gravity refuses to let go. Can you feel the wonder in knowing you are part of this slow spiral, riding the curve of eternity? Scientists once wondered why galaxies hold together at all. By visible matter alone, they should fly apart, but they do not. This mystery led to the discovery of something unseen, dark matter, an invisible weight that strengthens gravity's grip. It is as if galaxies are stitched not only with stars, but with shadowy threads we cannot see, threads that bind the fabric of the cosmos. Galaxies do not sit alone either. They reach out with gravity, tugging on one another, bending their shapes, guiding their futures. Over billions of years, they collide, merge, and reshape into new forms. Yet even in this chaos, gravity keeps them whole, never letting the stars scatter into emptiness. It is a patience so vast it can only be measured in the lifetimes of galaxies. And so every spiral, every cluster, every glowing shape you see in the night sky is not random. It is gravity's art, written on the grandest canvas. The universe may look chaotic, but hidden beneath it is order, guided by invisible hands, pulling all things into harmony. The cosmic web built from gravity's touch. Step back even farther, beyond single galaxies, and you will see something astonishing. The universe itself is woven into a vast web, strands of galaxies stretching across unimaginable distances. This cosmic web is not random, it is shaped entirely by gravity. Where matter was denser after the Big Bang, gravity pulled harder, drawing galaxies into filaments. Where it was sparse, gravity let emptiness remain. The result is a universe that looks like lace, stretched across eternity. These filaments are not small, they span hundreds of millions of light years. Galaxies gather along them like dew, drops on threads, and in between lie immense voids of almost nothing at all. Gravity wrote this pattern over billions of years, pulling, shaping, balancing. It is a design too vast for any human eye to see directly, yet telescopes and maps reveal its delicate beauty. Doesn't it make you wonder if the universe itself is alive, breathing in filaments and voids? The cosmic web is a reminder that gravity works on every scale. It sculpts mountains on Earth, stars in galaxies, and entire patterns of galaxies across the cosmos. The same law that pulls an apple down from a tree also writes the largest structures we can imagine. There is no division between small and large, only the same patient hand. Even the mysterious dark matter plays its role here, forming the scaffolding on which galaxies hang. Without it, the web would unravel, the filaments collapse. And though we cannot see it, we know it is there because gravity reveals it, whispering its presence through the motion of galaxies. It is humbling to realize that the universe hides most of its weight in shadow. So when you gaze at the night sky, remember you are not seeing random stars. You are seeing the edge of a vast web, each point a glowing thread in a structure so immense it defies imagination. And all of it, every strand, every knot, was drawn together by gravity's touch. How gravity paints the largest patterns in space. Patterns are everywhere in the universe, but the largest ones belong to gravity. Spiral galaxies, galaxy clusters, superclusters, all of them are shaped by its steady hand. The universe could have been chaos, matter, drifting without order. Instead, gravity paints symmetry, repetition, and elegance. It is as though the cosmos prefers beauty, guided by attraction that repeats itself across scales. Consider the spirals of galaxies, the rings of Saturn, the circles of orbits, all variations of the same pattern. None of them are accidents. They are the natural outcome of motion and gravity working together, forming order from chance. Even when collisions occur, they give rise to new patterns. Elliptical galaxies, rings of dust, arcs of stars. Gravity does not destroy without creating anew. On the grandest scales, these patterns become breathtaking. Superclusters of galaxies form walls and arcs stretching across space, like brushstrokes on an infinite canvas. Each one is billions of light-years long, yet shaped by the same invisible pull that holds you to your chair. That connection between the tiny and the infinite is what makes gravity so mysterious and so familiar at once. Humans have always found meaning in patterns. We draw constellations in the stars, measure seasons by the sun, write stories in the moon. But behind our symbols, gravity writes the real patterns, the true shapes. It paints galaxies into spirals, stars into clusters, planets into orbits. The universe itself is a gallery, and gravity is the artist that never signs its name. So the next time you look at the night sky, know that what you see is not random glitter, but patterns painted across time and space. Every curve, every arc, every symmetry is gravity's signature, quiet, eternal, undeniable. The dance of galaxies pulling on each other. Galaxies are not fixed jewels in the sky. They are dancers slowly circling, reaching for one another with gravity's arms. Over billions of years, they collide and merge, reshaping into new forms. Our own Milky Way is already moving toward its neighbor, Andromeda. In a few billion years, the two will meet, their stars swirling together, their shapes becoming one. It will not be destruction, but transformation. Gravity's dance played on the largest stage imaginable. When galaxies approach, their stars rarely collide. The spaces between them are too vast. Instead, gravity pulls their orbits into chaos, rearranging them into new patterns. Spirals become ellipticals, clusters become larger, and black holes at their centers merge into more powerful anchors. The result is not ruin, but rebirth, a larger galaxy rising from the embrace of two. Isn't it remarkable that collision, so feared in our lives, becomes creation in the universe? We can already see this dance in progress. The antennae galaxies, locked in collision, stretch out glowing arms of stars like dancers reaching across the void. Other galaxies show the scars of past encounters, rings and arcs formed by tidal pulls. Everywhere we look, gravity is choreographing, writing ballets of light across the darkness. And yet the dance is slow. It takes millions, even billions of years for galaxies to meet, merge, and settle. Patience is written into every step, every swirl. What feels eternal to us is only a moment in their rhythm. Time itself becomes part of the performance, as gravity shapes movements too vast for human lifetimes to follow. So when you look at the Milky Way, remember it is not still. It is moving, reaching, preparing for its part in the great cosmic dance. And you, right now, are a passenger in that slow, graceful motion, one small step in gravity's endless choreography. The war between expansion and attraction. The universe is not still. It is expanding, stretching outward in every direction. Galaxies drift apart, the space between them growing wider with time. Yet gravity does not surrender. It pulls back, clinging, trying to hold the fabric together. What we witness then is a cosmic tug-of-war. Expansion pushing outward, gravity pulling inward. Neither wins completely. Instead, the universe balances on this tension, unfolding like a story with no certain ending. For billions of years, this battle has shaped the destiny of everything. If gravity were stronger, the universe might have collapsed back into itself, a big crunch. If expansion was stronger, galaxies might have scattered so quickly that stars could never form. But in this fragile middle ground, both forces coexist, each keeping the other from domination. Doesn't that sound strangely familiar to life itself? Balance always found between opposites? Astronomers map this conflict in the stars' redshifts, tiny signals that galaxies are moving farther apart, yet they also see clusters holding together, refusing to be torn apart. The contradiction is not a mistake, it is the universe showing us its duality. Creation is not one-sided, it is born from struggle, from forces pulling both ways. We often think of gravity as ultimate, unbreakable, but here we see its limits. Expansion, born from the Big Bang, pushes on, untiring. Gravity, born from mass and attraction, resists. The result is a universe in motion, not static, not calm, but dynamic and alive. It is not a war of destruction, but of shaping, of becoming. And so every star, every planet, every orbit exists because this war has not yet ended. We live in the middle of the story, not its conclusion. Expansion stretches the sky above us, while gravity anchors us to the earth. Both forces define us, both forces will decide how the universe itself will end. Why the universe stretches but never scatters apart. Despite expansion, the night sky is not an empty void. Stars still shine together, galaxies still cluster, and the Milky Way still holds its spiral. This is because gravity does not vanish with distance. It weakens, yes, but it never truly disappears. Even across millions of light years it reaches, pulling faintly, binding faintly, never letting go completely. It ensures that while the universe expands, it does not scatter into chaos. Think of the local group, our small cosmic neighborhood. The Milky Way, Andromeda, and dozens of smaller galaxies all move outward with expansion. Yet together they remain bound, drifting as one cluster. Gravity creates pockets of belonging within the greater stretch. Imagine it like islands in an ocean, drifting apart but still whole within themselves. This balance is subtle but powerful. Expansion sets the stage, but gravity keeps the actors from leaving it entirely. Without gravity, the script of the universe would be one of emptiness, galaxies scattering too far to ever meet. Instead, we have communities of stars, families of galaxies, patterns that remain even as the stage itself grows wider. It's a reminder that separation is never absolute. Even as things drift, invisible bonds remain. Gravity whispers, you may move away, but you are still connected. The universe, then, is not a story of loss, but of distance with belonging. Perhaps that is why even the most distant galaxies still shine toward us, their light a reminder that connection always finds its way. So the universe stretches, but it never shatters. Expansion widens the canvas, gravity keeps the shapes intact. Together they write a sky that grows without losing its stars, a paradox that gives us beauty in the night. Dark matter, the unseen mass that holds galaxies. When astronomers first measured the motion of stars in galaxies, they expected the outer stars to move slowly. Instead, they found them racing, as if something unseen was holding them tighter than expected. This mystery led to one of the greatest discoveries of modern science: dark matter, an invisible mass, unseen by telescopes, yet revealed by gravity's hand. Without it, galaxies would unravel. With it, they hold together, spirals intact, stable against expansion. Dark matter makes up most of the universe's mass, yet it cannot be seen, touched, or measured directly. We know it only by the way it pulls, the way it bends light, the way it holds galaxies like strings hold kites. Imagine a shadow that has weight, a presence that reveals itself only by its tug. That is dark matter, a hidden partner in gravity's work. Some call it a ghost of matter, others a scaffold of the universe. Whatever it is, it ensures that galaxies spin without falling apart, that stars remain loyal to their centers. Without it, the Milky Way would not exist, nor would any galaxy at all. Gravity reveals dark matter like an artist revealing the sketch beneath the paint. And here is the wonder. Dark matter is everywhere, even around us. Though we cannot see it, we move through it daily, swimming in an invisible sea. It does not harm us, it does not touch us, but it cradles us, ensures that our galaxy remains whole. Doesn't it make you pause, knowing you live inside something you cannot see? So the next time you look up at the Milky Way, know this: you are not just seeing stars, but the unseen weight that holds them. Dark matter is not absence, but presence in disguise. It is gravity's partner, the invisible sculptor of galaxies. Dark energy, the push that defies gravity. If dark matter strengthens gravity, dark energy defies it. It is the mysterious force causing the universe's expansion to accelerate, pushing galaxies apart faster and faster. Unlike gravity, which pulls, dark energy pushes. Unlike matter, which clumps, dark energy spreads. It is the great counterweight to gravity, the silent push against the silent pull. Scientists discovered it by accident, measuring distant supernovae and realizing the universe was not slowing down, but speeding up. This was shocking, for everything we knew suggested gravity should eventually slow expansion. Instead, dark energy had the final word, and its word was acceleration. The universe was not winding down, it was rushing outward. What is dark energy? No one truly knows. It may be part of space itself, woven into the fabric of emptiness. It may be a field, a property, a law beyond our reach. Whatever it is, it dominates the universe, making up nearly 70% of its content. Think of that. Most of the cosmos is not matter, not light, but an invisible push we cannot explain. And yet, dark energy is gentle, almost subtle. You do not feel it, though it shapes the destiny of all things. It works not on scales of apples or planets, but on scales of billions of light years. It is like the slowest breath, barely noticeable, but powerful enough to determine whether the universe lives forever or dies in silence. So we live caught between gravity's pull and dark energy's push. Neither cancels the other, both define the cosmos. Their quiet argument will decide the final fate of everything we know, and we, tiny observers, can only watch, listen, and wonder at their mysterious balance. The fragile balance shaping cosmic destiny. The universe is not rushing blindly, it is guided by balance. Gravity pulling inward, dark energy pushing outward, dark matter strengthening the web, expansion stretching the fabric. Together, these forces write the future of everything. It is fragile because the smallest shift could change destiny. Yet for now, balance holds and the cosmos unfolds in harmony, neither collapsing nor dissolving. It is a story still being written. Imagine the possibilities. If gravity were to win, galaxies would draw together, stars would collapse, and the universe might one day end in fire. If dark energy wins, galaxies will drift so far apart that their light will never reach one another, leaving only silence. And if the balance holds, the universe may expand forever, yet still remain rich with stars. Each path is possible, and no one knows which will come. This uncertainty is not frightening, it is beautiful. It means the universe is alive, dynamic, changing. It means we are not in a frozen painting, but a living story. And isn't it remarkable that the same laws keeping your feet on the ground also shape this ultimate destiny? That gravity beneath your step is the same force deciding the fate of galaxies. Scientists spend lifetimes trying to measure this balance, to map the weight of the universe, to listen to its expansion. And though answers come slowly, each discovery adds to the wonder. The more we learn, the more fragile and precious the balance seems. It is not random, it is a tension as delicate as a thread holding a pearl. So when you look into the night sky, know this. You are not only seeing stars, but a balance so vast it holds the destiny of everything. Gravity and dark energy, matter and motion, all in conversation, all writing the universe's final chapter. Clusters of galaxies bound across millions of light years. Galaxies are not solitary. They gather in clusters held together by gravity across distances so vast the mind struggles to imagine them. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, of galaxies live in these communities, swirling in shared orbits, their motions bound by unseen threads. It is humbling to think of entire galaxies, each with billions of stars, being just one member of a larger family. The universe does not like loneliness, it prefers togetherness, even on the largest scales. Our own Milky Way belongs to such a family, the local group, sharing space with Andromeda and smaller galaxies like Triangulum. Beyond that lies the Virgo cluster, hundreds of galaxies bound in a vast embrace. Each cluster is like a city of stars with its own neighborhoods, its own central pulls. They are not static, galaxies within them drift, collide, and merge, but gravity ensures the city never dissolves. If you could look from far away, you would see these clusters shimmering like jewels in the cosmic web, scattered across the dark. They are the building blocks of the universe on the largest scales. Just as atoms gather into molecules, galaxies gather into clusters. The same rule repeats itself endlessly, gravity binding, forming, shaping. What is extraordinary is the patience of these bonds. Clusters hold for billions of years, resisting expansion's attempt to stretch them apart. They drift together through the wider universe like rafts tied in an endless ocean. Within them life unfolds, stars are born and die, civilizations rise and vanish, all while the cluster endures. The scale is almost incomprehensible, and yet the principle is simple. Gravity never lets go. So when you see the Milky Way arching above, remember, it is not only a galaxy, but but a citizen of something far larger. We live inside a cluster, part of a community of light, bound by forces we cannot feel yet depend on completely. The slow fall of galaxies into each other's arms. Gravity's patience is unmatched. Given enough time, galaxies within clusters drift closer, their pulls gradually aligning until they fall into each other's arms. The process is not sudden, it takes billions of years, but it is inevitable. Even galaxies cannot resist attraction forever. What looks like stillness in the night sky is, in truth, a slow-motion embrace unfolding across cosmic time. When galaxies fall together, they stretch and bend, their stars pulled into streams like ribbons of light. Some stars are flung outward, becoming wanderers, while others settle into new orbits around the merged center. Black holes at their hearts spiral together, releasing titanic waves of energy before merging into one. Out of two galaxies, a new one is born, larger, stronger, shaped by collision but bound by gravity. Astronomers have captured glimpses of this in the antennae galaxies, their arms entwined, stars colliding, clouds igniting into bursts of newborn suns. Collisions, though violent on scale, are also creative. They seed new generations of stars, new structures, new rhythms of light. Isn't it remarkable that what looks like destruction is in fact creation wearing another face? The Milky Way itself is part of this story. In billions of years it will meet Andromeda. To human time, it seems eternal. To cosmic time, it is already in progress. Their slow fall is gravity's patient plan, one step in an endless cycle of galaxies merging and reshaping. The night sky you see now is not fixed, it is a scene in motion. So when you gaze upward, imagine galaxies drifting toward one another, arms outstretched in a silent waltz. They will meet, embrace, and become something new. Gravity writes no endings, only transformations. The creation of giant elliptical galaxies from collisions. When spirals collide and merge, their graceful arms often vanish. In their place, a new form emerges, giant elliptical galaxies. These are vast, smooth ovals of stars, lacking the delicate spirals of their parents. They are the elders of the universe, born from countless collisions, their histories written in their size and shape. Gravity reshapes chaos into stability, building something quieter but no less magnificent. Elliptical galaxies are enormous, sometimes containing trillions of stars. They dominate the centers of galaxy clusters, their gravity anchoring smaller members around them. They are the heavyweights of the cosmos, formed not in youth, but in maturity, through countless mergers. Each star within them carries the memory of past collisions, the echoes of ancient spirals now lost. Their stars are older, redder, less fiery than those of spirals. Star formation slows in ellipticals, for their gas and dust have often been consumed. Yet they shine with a calm brilliance, their mass so great that they remain steady anchors in the cosmic web. They are the final form of galaxies, the end of gravity's long sculpting, elegant, smooth, enduring. Think of it like this. Spirals are the dancers, elliptical galaxies are the monuments. One moves with grace, the other stands with weight. Both are beautiful, both are necessary. Gravity ensures variety, not uniformity, creating galaxies of different forms from the same simple ingredients. It is diversity written in starlight. So when you see an image of a giant elliptical galaxy, know that you are looking at the result of countless embraces. They are the elders of the cosmos, born from union, sustained by gravity's steady hand. Black holes at galactic hearts steering the stars. At the center of nearly every galaxy lies a secret, a supermassive black hole. Millions, sometimes billions of times heavier than our sun, These black holes act like anchors, steering the motion of stars around them. We cannot see them directly, but their presence is undeniable. Stars orbit them, light bends near them, and their gravity sets the rhythm of galactic life. The heart of a galaxy is darkness, yet from that darkness comes order. These black holes are not passive. They feed on gas, dust, and sometimes even stars that stray too close. As they feed, they release jets of energy, brighter than whole galaxies, blasting matter outward across space. They shape the growth of their galaxies, sometimes slowing star formation, sometimes sparking it. It is a paradox, darkness creating light, collapse shaping expansion. Gravity once again reveals its dual nature. In the Milky Way, our central black hole is called Sagittarius A. It is quiet now, but once it may have blazed, shaping the galaxy's history. Even today, stars whip around it at breathtaking speeds, evidence of its enormous pull. The galaxy spirals not only because of its stars, but because of the hidden anchor in its heart. Imagine this. Every spiral arm, every glowing star, every orbit you see in a galaxy is influenced by an object you cannot see. A hole, a silence, steering billions of suns. Isn't that extraordinary? That absence itself becomes power. That emptiness becomes guidance. It challenges everything we think we know about what it means to lead or to hold. So when you see a galaxy shining in the night sky, remember, its heart is not light, but shadow. And yet from that shadow comes shape, order, and beauty, all written by gravity's unseen hand. How even light bends when gravity whispers. Gravity does not stop at matter, it touches light itself. When light passes near a massive object, its path curves, bending as though space itself were warped. This is not illusion, it is reality. Einstein predicted it, and the stars confirmed it. Gravity does not only hold, it shapes the very stage on which all things move. Light, the fastest traveler in the universe, still bows to gravity's whisper. This bending of light is called gravitational lensing. It allows distant galaxies to appear magnified, their images stretched into arcs and rings. Nature becomes its own telescope, letting us see farther than any machine could alone. Isn't that remarkable, that the universe itself helps us peer into its secrets, using gravity as a lens? Sometimes gravitational lensing produces eerie beauty, one galaxy split into multiple images like a cosmic mirage, or a ring of light circling an invisible mass, revealing what cannot otherwise be seen. Even dark matter shows its presence this way, bending light though it remains unseen. Gravity reveals what our eyes cannot, writing its fingerprints in the paths of photons. This discovery changed everything. It told us space is not flat but curved, shaped by mass and energy. Gravity is not only a force, it is the bending of space-time itself. When you look at starlight, you are not seeing straight lines, but curved journeys shaped by invisible hands. Every twinkle, every ray has been guided on its way to you. So the next time you see a star in the night sky, remember, its light may have bent around galaxies, danced past black holes, curved through invisible webs before reaching your eyes. Gravity not only holds the universe, it sculpts the very light we use to see it. Gravitational lensing, or the universe's natural telescope. Sometimes the universe helps us see itself. When light from a distant galaxy passes a massive object on its way, gravity bends it, magnifying it like a lens. We call this gravitational lensing, and it is the cosmos acting as its own telescope. Through these curved paths, we glimpse galaxies so far away their light began before Earth even formed. Isn't it astonishing that bending can become a window into time itself? Through lensing, one galaxy may appear as two, or even as rings of light around an invisible mass. These cosmic illusions are not tricks, they are truths revealing hidden weight where no stars can be seen. It is how we know dark matter exists, holding galaxies together though it never shines. Gravity bends the light and light betrays the unseen. Some of the most beautiful cosmic photographs come from lensing. Arcs of blue light stretched across space, galaxies mirrored like reflections in water. These are not accidents, but the results of space-time curved by mass. Nature itself provides magnification, showing us places our telescopes alone could never reach. It feels almost like a secret gift, gravity guiding our eyes to deeper truths. And here's the wonder. When we look through these natural lenses, we are not just seeing far, we are seeing back. Into the youth of the universe, the light bent around a galaxy cluster maybe billions of years old, carrying images of the cosmos as it was long before we existed. Gravity does not only shape the present, it reveals the past. So when you see an image of arcs and rings from a telescope, remember, it is the universe magnifying itself for us. Gravity becomes the guide, bending light so that we may glimpse the stories written in the dawn of time. Einstein's vision of curved space-time made real. Albert Einstein once imagined gravity not as a force pulling, but as space itself bending. A heavy object, like a planet or star, presses into the fabric of space-time and smaller objects roll toward it. This was a radical idea, but experiments proved it true. Light bent around the sun during an eclipse, planets moved exactly as predicted, and suddenly gravity was no longer invisible. It was the shape of reality itself. Think of space as a soft fabric. Place a ball on it and the fabric dips. Place a heavier ball and the dip grows deeper. Smaller balls placed nearby roll inward, not because they are pulled, but because the fabric itself tells them how to move. This is Einstein's vision of gravity, motion guided by curvature, attraction born from geometry. Doesn't it change the way you think of the world beneath your feet? It means Earth does not orbit the sun because of an invisible rope, but because the sun bends space around it. Earth is simply following the straightest path it can in that curved fabric. Likewise, the moon follows Earth's curve, and satellites follow smaller dips. Motion itself is written into the structure of space and time. Gravity is not separate, it is the fabric we live in. The beauty of Einstein's vision is that it unites the small and the large, time and space, light and matter. Everything follows the same rules: move through the fabric, bend with its curves, obey its shapes. It explains why black holes exist, why time slows under weight, why even light bends when passing stars. The universe is not a stage, it is a living surface shaped by mass and energy. And so when you walk across the ground, when you see the sun rise, when you drop an apple, all of it is space-time curving, guiding, shaping. Einstein gave us a language for gravity, but gravity itself has always been here, whispering the same truth in silence. Ripples in space-time, the birth of gravitational waves. If space-time can bend, then it can also ripple. When massive objects like black holes collide, they send out waves through space-time itself. These gravitational waves spread across the universe, stretching and squeezing space as they pass. For a century, they were only theory. But in 2015, humanity heard them for the first time, a faint signal, a ripple in reality, arriving from over 1 billion light-years away. It was the sound of two black holes colliding, their spiral dance ending in a final embrace. The energy released was unimaginable, greater than all the stars in the universe shining together. Yet what reached Earth was tiny, smaller than the width of an atom. Still our instruments felt it. For the first time, we were listening not with eyes, but with space-time itself. These waves open a new way of knowing. Light tells us what shines, but gravitational waves tell us what collides. They let us hear the dark, the invisible, the events hidden behind horizons. Black holes, neutron stars, violent mergers, none can hide from these ripples. Gravity itself becomes the messenger, carrying stories across billions of years. Think about what that means. Every time something massive collides, the universe shivers, and the echo travels outward forever. Some of those echoes are passing through you right now, unnoticed, stretching you and compressing you, though too faint to feel. The universe is never silent. It is always trembling, always singing in gravity's hidden voice. So when you hear of gravitational waves, know that they are not just signals. They are proof that the universe is alive with motion, that even darkness speaks if only we learn how to listen. The echo of colliding black holes traveling forever. When two black holes meet, their collision is not the end. It is the beginning of a wave that will travel forever. Imagine space-time itself shaking, ripples spreading outward endlessly like circles in a pond. Unlike water waves, these ripples do not fade. They stretch the very fabric of reality, carrying the memory of the collision across eternity. Right now, as you listen, waves from ancient events may be passing through you. The echoes of these collisions are faint, but they are timeless. 1 billion years ago, two black holes may have spiraled together in some distant galaxy. The light of that event may never reach us, swallowed by darkness. But the waves did not care. They traveled outward, bending space itself, until one day they arrived here, whispering to our detectors. Isn't it astonishing that we can hear an event that ended long before Earth even existed? These waves tell us about the unseen. They reveal the weight of black holes, the speed of their spins, the violence of their mergers. They allow us to measure what no telescope could ever show. With each wave, we learn more about gravity itself, its strength, its patience, its role as both sculptor and storyteller of the cosmos. And here is the wonder: these echoes will never stop. Long after humanity is gone, long after stars fade, the ripples of today's collisions will still be traveling, spreading, carrying memory. The universe itself becomes its own archive, storing history in the trembling of space-time. So when you hear of colliding black holes, do not think of destruction. Think of echoes that last forever, messages carried across the cosmos, waves that remind us that nothing in the universe truly vanishes. It only transforms into a new kind of song. How gravity lets us listen to the universe's past. For centuries, we watched the universe with light alone. Telescopes captured the glow of stars, the arcs of galaxies, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang. But now, with gravitational waves, we can listen. Each ripple carries the memory of an ancient collision, each wave a story written in space-time. Gravity gives us ears to hear what light cannot say, opening a deeper, older archive of the cosmos. This is more than a new tool, it is a new sense. Imagine living your whole life with only sight and suddenly gaining hearing. The universe is richer, more alive than we thought. With every detected wave, we are reminded that the cosmos is not silent. It is full of hidden rhythms, echoes, and songs. We simply needed gravity to teach us how to listen. Listening with gravity also lets us look back farther in time. Light from the earliest stars is faint, often blocked or absorbed, but gravitational waves pass through everything, untouched, carrying messages from the dawn of creation itself. They may one day let us hear the first moments after the Big Bang, the birth cries of the universe. Think of how extraordinary that would be. To listen to the moment when time and space themselves began, carried to us not by light, but by ripples in reality. Gravity becomes more than a force. It becomes a messenger across time, connecting us to the very start of existence. Each wave that arrives is a piece of memory, a fragment of the universe's autobiography. So when scientists celebrate a detection, it is not just data, it is a voice from the past whispering across billions of years. Gravity has always shaped the universe, but now it also tells us its story, if only we are quiet enough to listen.